Hello and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Tragedy. And it's it's the Australian sensation, it's Piers Austin, and welcome again. And we joined by my two very good friends, the Kingpin and Kevin, aka Juan Strowman. Get these tacos, ese. And
That's so
tonight,
that is so funny. Pierce thinks he has friends.
oh, you guys have jokes. You guys have jokes, but come on, guys. I know you love me. I'm like the fart in a spacesuit that doesn't go away. But tonight, guys, we're going to be covering off the Chris Candido story, and Chris Candido had a bit of a heartbreaking career, and we're going to go into a bit of detail about that. And we really hope that you guys enjoy what we have to say. But before we get into it, my name is Piers Austin. I am the host of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am from Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance, a page that you can go for all wrestling fans. If you want to show off your wrestling memorabilia, your collection, your title belts, your t-shirts, your action figures, whatever it may be, that is what we are there for. We also there for some content, some entertainment, where my show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, where I interview someone from the world of professional wrestling every single week. And also we have 2020 Wrestling, a game show where you can take part. You can be a contestant one week if you contact our admin, Christy, and she can get you on the show. It's a wrestling trivia game, and it's absolutely fun. It's a lot of entertainment, and we are going to be having the Kingpin and Kevin on very, very soon as well. So make sure to tune in for that one. But I'm going to hand it over to my good friend Kevin. He's going to take it away and introduce himself, and then we're going to go to Kingpin, and then we're going to get on to discussing Chris Candido.
First thing I want to say is I can't wait to be back on 2020 Wrestling. I'm undefeated in 2020 Wrestling, where I absolutely wiped the floor with the man below me. But before we get to before we get any further, I just want to take a quick second to thank all of our amazing sponsors who make this show possible. We could not do it without them. First of which being Paradise Customs. Paradise Customs works with the most premium leather. It's soft as butter, guys. Paradise Customs does both custom and traditional tooling on straps. And let's face it, when we get those new belts from WWE Shop, nobody wants that thick, bulky cardboard strap. Paradise Customs is going to set you up right. And I know what you're thinking, guys. Why would I want to send a belt away for 2 to 3 months that I just paid $300, $400, $500 for? That's not the case with Paradise Customs. Paradise Customs prides themselves on having a 2-week turnaround, depending on where you live, depending on how long shipping takes. 2 to 3 week turnaround, guys, and that is it. And you are going to have one of the best leather straps on your belt. Now, we've set you up for success with your leather straps. Let's go to your restoning needs. You know, we have these belts over time, and some stones fall out. Maybe they're not shining as bright as they once did. Maybe they just need a little bit of a facelift. Mr. Jeff Parthay is known as Mr. TV Accuracy. So if you want that belt to look as close to TV accurate as possible, send it to Paradise Customs. And once it's done, send it over to Jeff Parthay. I was getting to that. Calm down. Send it to Paradise Customs to get that TV accurate strap. Then send it on over to Immortal Restoning to get the TV accurate stones. Thank you, Piers.
I'm sorry. I just get exciting for model restoning.
I think we all do, man.
You know what?
Out, guys.
You know, little elves get excited.
Even if you don't have any belts, we're going to take care of you right there as well. MIAN belts. MIAN is the premier belt maker in the world today. He makes some of the most amazing pieces of art. I've got some MIAN belts. Kingpin's got one ordered. Piers is getting a MIAN belt. We wouldn't promote them if we didn't believe in them, guys. They are absolutely amazing. As he appears in Wrestling Review Society and Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance, Eddie and Ira Williams. Eddie Williams is one of the most trustworthy guys you will ever meet. He has an outstanding payment plan as low as $10 a week until the belt is paid off. You're not going to find that anywhere else. You're going to get updates the entire time. You're going to know when the zinc is cut, when the leather's done, when it's in plating. Eddie is one of the best guys I've ever met in my life, and I cannot compliment him enough. Lastly, guys, AROCKK Designs. This is my wife's custom business where she makes these amazing custom wrestling cups. It can be wrestling related, non-wrestling related, much like this Bullet Club cup. Cheers, guys. But she also does hoodies, shirts, keychains, literally anything you could possibly want. If you want to place an order with AROCKK Designs, feel free to go to AROCKK Designs on Facebook. Hit her up. Tell them you came from Wrestling with Tragedy. It's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to do anything for us. But, God, we love it when people talk about us.
Absolutely.
But listen, guys, if you want to get your hands on one of those cups for free, that's right, I said for free. All you have to do is go to ProWrestlingTees.com. Type in Wrestling Review Society in the search bar. Get your hands on this awesome Wrestling Review Society WrestleHub shirt. The first 25 orders will be placed into a random drawing where the winner will receive one of the AROCKK Designs tumblers for free. And you know what, guys? We're not just giving away one. We're going to give away 2 of them. So with that said, head over to Pro Wrestling Tees, order your WrestleHub shirt, and get in to win that cup, man. It's going to be awesome. With that being said, Mr. Piers Austin, please let everybody know in detail what we'll be covering and give your opinions on it, and then turn it over to Angel and myself.
Absolutely. So tonight we're going to be discussing the Chris Candido story. So Chris Candido is, in my opinion, one of the best professional wrestlers in history. You know, he was an amazing in-ring talent, an amazing performer. You know, was just, you know, I think he was probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in the last 20 to 30 years. You know, he was a great, you know, personality, incredible, you know, with no gimmicks needed. You know, and I think I think a lot of the tragedy that comes around, and I don't want to just point blame at someone, but it seems that a lot of it came, and a lot of the heartbreak came from one person, and that was Sonny. You know, they had a very, you know, a very toxic relationship from the sounds of things, and that's something that, you know, we're going to be discussing today. Is we're going to be discussing their relationship. We're going to be discussing, you know, Chris's, you know, his demons, you know, his sort of, you know, his addictions, and what led to ultimately his passing. So, you know, I want to hand it over to, you know, Angel. So, Kingpin, you know, you were around Chris for a little while. You know, what sort of guy would you say that he is? Like, what was his personality like? What sort of guy was he?
I mean, Chris Candido, I mean, like I said, I didn't really know him. I wasn't part of his like clique inner circle, but he used to hang out a lot with Axel Ryan and Balls Mahoney. Great guy, real quiet, real soft spoken, kind of funny. But he wasn't that the Chris Candido that you saw in the ring. He was just really quiet, laid back. I mean, like I said, he was funny. But I never really got sat down and talked to him because I was still new in ECW, and plus I just was part. Everybody had a clique, of course, you know, and I mostly hung out with like DeVito, Danny Doring, Roadkill, you know, Chili Willy, all those guys. But you could tell, you know, he was very like, I can't say the word insecure, but you can see it in his face. Like Sonny was like the alpha male, and he was more just quiet. If you would have seen it, you would have seen that type of that feel about him. But one hell of a guy. I mean, like I said, I only knew him for a short time, but one hell of a guy. You know.
Yeah, and Kevin, throwing over to you, what were your thoughts? Obviously, with, you know, covering off this topic, you know, once you started looking into it, what were your sort of thoughts about Candido and the career that he had?
Well, I definitely think he was a good in-ring performer. I definitely think he had the it factor. I think he was he really knew how to carry himself in the ring. But once he came, and you could tell when he was in the ring, he was at peace. He had everything he wanted in the ring. But when he got out of the ring and he went back through that curtain, he definitely had some troubles. Some his own, some at fault of his own, some due to no fault of his own. You know, we've all been in serious relationships where we've been cheated on, or heartbroken, or whatever the case may be. We've struggled with our own demons. And this is a man who definitely had his fair share of demons. And unfortunately, it led to his passing. And it's very unfortunate. I wish his story could have been told a little longer, a little better, but here we are. And Piers, I know you're very passionate about this one. So, yeah, man, take it away.
Yeah, so Chris Candido, was a guy I first saw when I started seeing wrestling videos and seeing him as part of coming out in the WWF, as one of the body donners. With the blonde hair and coming out with Sonny by his side, and seeing them having their tag team win and so forth. And then I really started to follow it once I started to see him in like a bit later on in the like earlier 2000s. Everybody knows that I'm a big independent wrestling mark. I love those early XPW shows, those early CZW shows, and Candido was a real driving force in XPW in the early days. He's a former XPW World Heavyweight Champion, and he and Sonny had a pretty decent run down there. And that was just before he was in WCW, and then when WCW folded, he went back there for a short time as well. A little about not long after that is when he passed. And when he passed, he was only young. He was only in his early 30s. Like he was about 33, I believe, when he passed away. And he passed away, not from a drug overdose, but obviously from years of abuse and drug abuse, from what he did and what he consumed over those years, had definitely led up to his passing. And whether he was taking narcotics and getting under the influence and taking drugs to escape from reality, to mask pain, that's something that we don't really know. But you look at the stories of what the relationship that he had with Sonny, and there's a story that he sold Sonny for the night to Ahmed Johnson for cocaine. You know what I mean? And to have that sort of addiction, like we all have our ladies, our wives, our girlfriends, and I can say for myself, I would never like say, yeah, take my wife for the night just to give me some drugs. Like,
you can
and
have
I know
mine
you
for
got.
free. I'm joking, babe. I love you.
But you know what? And that's what it comes down to is like, let's be honest. It's not going to, someone in that mindset isn't going to just have that thought to say, hey, that's what I'm going to do. And that, to me, it's a really sad story that you would actually do, like be down for that, for the woman that you love, just to go and fuck some dude for some coke. I can't comprehend that in my mind. And Angel, like I said, you've been around a lot of these guys with that have had these demons, that have had these drug addictions. Have you seen this firsthand of this sort of behavior?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was just typing on my other side of the computer, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first was in the ECW, we were in Dayton, Ohio, and again, this is nothing that takes away from Chris Candido's wrestling performance, the type of person he was. It's just what I saw for the first time in the locker room. So I had this massive headache, and we're in Dayton, Ohio, in one of the old arenas, and I had a towel over my head, and it was just killing me. And I'm just leaning with my knees in, and I kind of flipped the towel over almost like a hoodie. And I'm just looking up a little bit for whatever reason, because I heard somebody coming, and it was Axel Ryan and Chris Candido standing there, and they were just talking. And then out of nowhere, Candido took like an insulin needle and took blood out, and then gave it to Axel, and Axel shot it up in his arm. And I knew he was high on something, but didn't know what they were doing until I figured out it's called blood doping, where whatever was in the system will hit the other individual quick. So I was like, what the fuck? And then I had to wrestle them. This is like during time when AIDS, I'm not saying AIDS was hot, but I was, you're always afraid of, getting anything and stuff. And when I saw that kind of like really like put fear in me, but I still had to do my job and still blade and stuff. But I kind of kept pushing Axel away, never got him close to my exposed forehead. But I seen, that's the thing that really shocked me when I saw Candido do that. And I mean, I don't know if DeVito saw it, he was standing there, but I don't think he was aware. But when I saw it, I was just like, holy shit, what the fuck did I get into? But again, that's just me being green. I don't get involved in that type of thing. I just kept my mouth shut and pushed forward.
Do you think they were just doing it to rib you, like to go, oh, let's have a bit of fun with these guys, like, or do you think it was
No,
like
because he
that
didn't
was
know
all
I.
shit shit?
No, brother. They didn't know I was watching. I was just like I said. I had my head down and I kind of like did that, like how you see in the thing. You can't tell I'm looking, especially with a
Yeah.
towel kind of like draped over like this,
Yeah,
And I could still see the screen, but they don't see my eyes. And when I saw that, I'm like, and since I'm like I said, since I'm green and I had no meat in the business to say anything, I was just like, okay. None of my business. Keep my mouth quiet. I mean, I've seen a lot of things, and I kept my mouth shut. And I'm not trying to put a stain on Candido's legacy. It's not that. It's just that what I saw, I knew there was some demons during that time.
yeah. And obviously with Sonny as well. I mean, you said that Sonny was definitely the one in the alpha in the relationship, so to speak. And obviously with all the crazy stories that surround Sonny and her, sexual promiscuous behavior. Did you see any of this sort of firsthand?
I never saw anything like sexual, but I seen like very playful sexual with other guys. Again, we never talked. I mean, again, I wasn't at her level. You know what I mean? Like, since I was like the mid Carter at the time, they were all up here. So she didn't really want, she's not going to step down. She's going to step up. And I'm not saying I'm going to step down, but in the lineup, she probably just didn't really, he ain't worth it. And like I said, I didn't really talk to her, man. I mean, I lost kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody thinks Sonny was hot at the time. Oh my God, Sonny is so hot. But the women in ECW and the women anywhere, when you see them at their worst, because they become like brothers or sisters and stuff like that, they're without makeup, pimples, they're on their period. And like I said, I've seen things that Sonny like kind of took away that glamour away from me. So it's just like, yeah, that bitch is nasty. And it's the truth. I mean, one day I don't know where I was, but I remember she was sitting. It was a locker room. I know Francine was sitting next to her, and there's a thing that women use to peel off the calluses off the back of their heels, and it's like a razor gimmick. And she was scraping the calluses off the back of her heel, and she had a leg crossed, but of course she had a short skirt, so I could be able to see under her skirt. And I just like did the tip of the head, and I'm like,
fuck.
Yeah, and then I look, and I'm like, and there's this huge, big old period stain on a panty, and I'm just like,
probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I just went back to the normal position. And once you see that type of thing, or
fuck
just
you,
like
Angel, Angel, fuck you. You just ruined my fucking teenage dream girl.
Well, it's the same thing with the Tessa Blanchard. You're like, oh, she from the neck down, she's hot. And then you see the video, like, you're gonna be like, oh man, forget it. I don't even want to put my face in that wet deck of cards. It's disgusting. But again, it's just how it is, man. I mean, but again, like I said, I can't say she was nice, she was mean, she was disrespectful, because we just crossed paths in the hallway, but never talked. We never had to do an angle together, so she didn't have nothing to do with us.
Yeah, right. And Kevin, what were your thoughts into obviously, Tammy Lynn Sitch and some of her wild behaviors once we sort of started investigating this into it and really looking into the Chris Candido story. And it just kind of led to believe that sort of darkness was obviously, like, I don't know, man. It's hard to sort of say that it was her fault, but all evidence points in that direction, no?
I mean, when somebody goes through something like that, when somebody that you really care for, somebody you're in a relationship with, is doing some crazy shit on the side, obviously it leads to depression. It leads to, you feeling certain ways, and that could all ultimately lead to trying drugs and maybe getting your foot in the door. But let's make no mistake about it. She wasn't holding the needle to his arm.
No.
She wasn't putting a gun to his head saying, hey, snort this line or I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm not going to say she wasn't a contributing factor, but she wasn't the only factor. Like, I've been cheated on. I've been I've been embarrassed. I've been left. I've been, everything you could think of. And I've never done drugs a day in my life.
Looks like you do.
Yeah, it does. So there's really no excuse for it. But with that being said, I am not a Sunny advocate in the slightest. I wasn't around her personally like you were, Angel. But when you look at the long list of people that have had some sunny days in their life, yeah, it's
I have a question for you, Kevin, in a sec.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because you're more knowledgeable. Have you? I mean, and I saw this on a Just Incredible video for another podcast. But he said that one day he was in the hotel room in Just Incredible, Candido, and Tammy. And when Candido went into the shower to take a shower, she came out with a robe and just dropped her towel in front of him. And she goes, "Hey, why don't you just hit this while he's in the shower real quick?" You know, have you ever heard other stories like that?
I've heard that story. I've heard
that exact story.
You know, how would you feel? And see, and that's the thing. You've been cheated on. Everybody has been in that level. But how would you feel that you're in the other room making a sandwich, taking a shower, taking a shit, whatever you're doing, and on the other side of that door, your woman is playing you dirty and you don't know about it?
You know, I think we've seen this exact thing play out with the maybe not to this extent, but we've definitely seen something like this play out with the Edge, Lita, and Matt Hardy scenario.
Yes.
And I believe I'd react similar the same way. If somebody that I truly love and somebody that I care about is doing these things, as badly as I would want to get my hands on the person, I would probably have to step away from wrestling, or at least from that person, because I can't honestly. If you're the booker and the promoter and you own the company, Angel, and me and Piers have this issue going on, and you book us in a match, you are trusting the professionalism of us to stay professional while in the ring and take care of each other.
Yeah.
I would not be able to promise you that I wouldn't drop him on his fucking head.
I mean, it's very difficult because the thing is, this is my perspective on the situation. If it was me, I'm not talking about anybody else. If it was me and my woman did that or broke up with me to date somebody else, I feel that I'm a laughing stock, that people are talking behind my back, and that will bother me. That he's like, I just fucked his wife and he's still here. And I mean, again, I'm using somebody, it's off the topic, but like, you know, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, and oh my God, what Karen Angle. Again, different story, but then I'm like, Karen Jarrett. But and then I'm like, fuck, man, you know, because this is supposed to be my boy, my brother in the business. He did me dirty with my own wife because he was consulting her because whatever she did to complain to him, you know, and then he took that opportunity to like take action. But again, I'll be like, fuck, you know, I mean, then I got to work an angle with you. I feel like I'm just getting talked behind my back and slapped in the face.
No, absolutely. And it's one of those things where you have to walk into that locker room every single day. And, you know, you're around these people all the time. And as a partner in a relationship, when you're out in the ring, you know, trying to wrestle, now you're worried about, is she doing it again with somebody else back there? Like you almost become paranoid. And it's one of those things where you either have to let that person go and move on, or you need to step away from it, because once something like that happens, you're never going to be the same.
Yeah,
I mean, perfect example. We saw Edge and Matt Hardy be cordial with each other. We saw them be professional after years after this was over, but they were never the same Edge and Matt Hardy. They told stories of riding the roads together, coming up together, being the closest friends. It was Edge, Christian, Matt and Jeff.
Hardy,
just tight. It's who they were. You had Matt, you had Jeff, you had Adam, and you had Jay, and they were the closest of friends. And yeah, they might have been cordial after, but they were never the same. And it's like that with anybody. It's like you said, you become a laughing stock. And, you know, some people know how to handle that and some people don't. And I think Chris Candido is one of those situations where he didn't know how to handle it.
Well, one of the things that I learned in the business and again, this is just again from what I got trained, you never brought your woman in the locker room because the rule is that if you brought your girl in the locker room, then she's a rat. Because you have to have that form of respect, because guys walk around naked. They don't care who's around. And because I got yelled at, one girl came in, hey, don't you have respect for women? First of all, bitch, this is my locker room. You walking in my locker room. So that's my mentality, because that's how I was trained. So I never had my woman go into the locker room.
That's what I loved about David Schultz. He didn't let anybody in the locker room. If you didn't have a wrestling license, you weren't coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it kept the integrity of the locker room, and plus it shows respect to your woman. And I think, you know, again, it's just, I will never shit where I eat. I will never have a relationship with another wrestler unless it was she was retired and not in the business anymore. But again, once your woman's in the locker room, she sees a lot of things, and the guys just think she's fair game, and they can just pull a high spot on her, in my opinion.
No, I think you're spot on with that.
Yeah.
So they can come back. They can come backstage. They just can't go inside that locker room area,
unless you got hurt and you got your head busted open, or you blew your knee out, something serious. Yeah, you can go in the locker room, but you don't. You like when I used to have, with my ex, I used to be like, pull up to the building and tell her okay, and then yeah, she walked through the locker room when there was nobody there, you know, and then I guide her right through the locker room and put her into the arena and say, hey, if you need me, go to the security, ask them for me to come out. Do you need anything? Do you need money? Do you need this? Do you need that? I ask all the pertaining questions needed, because then she won't have to bother me. And then she's stuck there for the remaining of the show. And then I never see her again until it's time for me to leave. And then we walk back through the locker room again when everybody's leaving. So I did walk through the locker room, but not when it was time to change, work angles, just getting your shit, put your bag down, and walk your girl out through the other side of the curtain to this arena.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, I think that's probably a key part of it, as well as, you know, as you said, you know, you'd never get involved with someone in the business, and, you know, being in that situation that Chris Candido was in, and, you know, taking the drugs that he was taking as well, that would obviously lead to the depression, the paranoia, the
I heard, and again, these are all through the boys talking, that he used to shoot up New Bane before a match because he was in so much pain. And a lot of it. So I heard he was numb, you know. But again, I never done New Bane, so I don't know how that works in your system. But apparently, it's supposed to resolve a lot of pain.
So what's New Bane? We don't have that here in Australia.
Google. Hold on, I'll find out. But I don't know. Kev, do you know anything about New Bane while I'm looking it up?
No.
Was it like a pain relief medication, over the counter thing? Is it?
Yeah, it's a drug. It's not over the counter. It's more of a. Let me see. Let me just bring it up.
So while
it's an opiate. Yeah, it's just an opiate, and it's a scheduled. It was made in '78, and it's what level? It's a CSA, a controlled substance. Controlled substance. Yeah. So let me see what it does. But go ahead, you guys continue.
So kind of what Angel is getting at, you know, you don't bring your wife or your girlfriend or whoever it may be into the locker room because, you know, guys are changing, they're showering and all that other stuff. I would never would you let your wife just walk into a men's shower and just hang out?
No, absolutely not.
So
nor would she want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I've spoken to your wife. She's a lovely lady. Ashley, please don't hurt me. But you know, it goes to like what Angel was saying. It's that respect because, you know, if I just worked a match and I'm taking a shower and I'm going to sit down, I'm going to relax. I'm not going to be in any rush or anything like that. And it's the same as literally saying, hey, babe, go sit in the shower with those 15 dudes in there and just sit there.
Yeah.
Like, is it not?
No, it's
there you go.
It's exactly that.
So apparently it's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's a painkiller and it's kind of addictive. And you know, it's almost close to an oxycodone. Morphine as a way
Nubane is a man-made opiate painkiller. Nubane provides pain relief and a similar way of morphine oxycodone, oxycontin, and other narcotic out. Other narcotics. So yeah, you said he was shooting it up or he was snorting it.
No, he was shooting it up. That's what the boys were telling me because he was in so much pain.
Just mainlining it.
Yeah, he was just. Yeah, because he was in so much pain. Again, I don't know what kind of pain he was, but they said, because he used to take.
He was heartbroken.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, physical pain.
Yeah.
I don't know how much physical pain, but they said because of the bumps.
What would be the effects of that? Would he be getting high from that, or would it just be feeling like no pain?
It just apparently it's supposed to not make you feel no pain. But apparently it makes you it gives you a lightheaded feeling, like you might pass out, severe drowsiness, severe constipation, or low nausea level, vomiting, loss of appetite, dizziness, worsening tightening, tiredness, or weakness. I don't know.
And of it, like in the world of professional wrestling, was it is this common to see guys that have gone down the same road as Chris Candido, that have been with women that have just driven them to that stage of, of craziness?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, that type of thing in the business, you don't. It's a dark hole. I mean, that's why you don't deal with the women. And again, I'm not knocking women. It's just like dudes. You don't get involved with people in the business, and it's just and again, I'm not putting bad vibes for their relationship with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch and stuff. But I wouldn't date her because it's just because then when you do break up, let's say you do break up, then you see her in the locker room every day. She'll date somebody else. It's just like working somebody in any business, like your job or a woman on my cousin used to date people on the police department. She was a cop, and of course we used to call them badge bunnies, but
still do.
Yeah, so but they just kept bouncing, and I'm not knocking my cousin. It's just that, but then when she dated these guys and then she breaks up with them and then she dates the next guy in the same building, it just causes problems, man. And then you have to see him and then you go on calls with him. It's just not worth it, man. You separate those two worlds.
Don't shit where you eat.
Don't shit where you eat, man. Don't hop in the, don't hop around in the wrong lily pads or whatever you want to fucking call it.
Yeah, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
There you go.
I'm just looking up the conditions behind Chris Candido's death. And for anybody watching, when you see me looking in another direction, I have another computer over here, and the topics we discuss, I like to look them up and just to fact check ourselves so we're not putting false information out. But
I got the same thing.
It says here that on April 28th, 2005, Candido felt ill and his condition had worsened during the day. Candido collapsed during the evening, and he was rushed to Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick, New Jersey. He was diagnosed with pneumonia. The doctors drained his lungs, but he died shortly afterwards. His brother Johnny said that Candido had died because of a blood clot and complication from surgery. On April 29th, episode of Impact as well, at Hard Justice pay-per-view, TNA paid tribute to Candido. TNA decided to hold a tournament called the Chris Candido Memorial Tag in honor of the late 2005 and 2009. Candido was inducted into the Hardcore Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he actually broke his ankle in TNA, didn't he broke his ankle and he continued to be in an angle there. So, I think
it says on April 24th, 2005 at Lockdown, Candido suffered a fractured tibia and dislocated ankle during a steel cage match with Lance Hoyt.
Yeah, man.
The thing is,
years in the business and an injury like that, man.
Yeah, fuck. And the thing is that I really want to point out is he had these drug problems, but he did not die of a drug-related incident. However, Angel, you know this from working narcotics and being involved with law enforcement, and we see this all the time, especially in pro wrestling. People get into drugs, they get into steroids, and it weakens your immune system. So something that probably wouldn't have killed a healthy person, you see them just even though it's not directly due to drugs, their compromised immune system is due to the heavy drug use, and the one that comes to mind is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie
I was
Guerrero
just
made
about
it.
to say that, man.
Eddie Guerrero made no secret that he struggled with his demons of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and everything under the sun. And then he found his religion. He got sober. He was performing at the highest level in his career. He was being groomed for another WWE title push. And due to the years and years of just heavy drug use and alcoholism, it led to something that ultimately took his life.
Now
Even though he
that
was sober at the time, his death is a result of heavy drug use.
and was that the video of him in SmackDown when he passed out in the ring, kind of sort of with the Dudleys and Bradshaw?
He was having health complications at the time.
Yeah.
When he,
Yeah.
I know the tag match you were talking about because he was pinned by Bradshaw, and Bradshaw was screaming at the referee, "End it, end it, end it, end it!" And they literally laid there and watched Eddie Guerrero for, what was it, 45 seconds to a solid minute before anybody really knew what to do. And Bradshaw, being the veteran that he was, he knew something wasn't right, and he was like, "Look, we have to end this now."
Yeah.
And they were actually Guerrero's team was actually scheduled to go over. Not that that matters in the grand scheme of things, because we're looking at somebody who really started the descent into his grave.
Yeah, but that's weird. I wonder why did they not do any type of medical exam in regards to seeing if he had any heart issues after he passed out in the ring, kind of sort of. I mean, guys, you got a clean bill of health, I guess. So.
In this day and age, that seems like the most logical answer. But you're talking about,
But that's a different topic. We'll talk about Eddie Guerrero
exactly.
and
We're talking about 15 years ago.
We'll just go ahead and say that the health and wellness policy today is a much different health and wellness policy of what it was back in 2005.
Yeah, and the thing is as well with Chris Candido, like with WWE's wellness policy that they have in place now, that if you've been a former WWE performer, and Angel, you might be able to inform me if this is correct as well, even if you're a former performer from a promotion that the WWE now owns the rights to, that if you have a drug or alcohol problem or gambling problem, they'll send you to rehab. But I'm not sure, is that extended to guys that have wrestled for ECW and WCW?
Well, to be honest with you, I never had a drug problem, but I heard they will take care of you. But again, that's just me just hearing it. I don't know if that's fact. I need to ask. I'm gonna ask DeVito, because DeVito is always.
We were just talking about Eddie, and Eddie actually was fired from WWE, sent to rehab, and then rehired. Matt Hardy, same thing. Matt Hardy was released from WWE. He made a very emotional video where he was outside the rehab clinic saying, "Hey, I'm going here. I'm going to get myself right, and I will be back for you guys." So I'm not going to say they didn't do that on their own, but when you see the list of people who have either been released and sent to rehab, released and then went to rehab, or just went to rehab without being released and then come back, the argument can be made that, the common denominator in all the cases is the fact that they were WWE employees.
Yeah. I mean, everybody went. I mean, I heard Sonny blew a lot of money going to rehab.
Oh, is that what the guy's name was? Money?
Oh, come on, guys.
I didn't see Ted DiBiase on that list.
Ooh. But you know what? Like, we're talking about Sunny and her promiscuity. Is that a word? Being promiscuous. Being a hoe. We'll call it being a hoe. Okay.
She calls it equal opportunist.
Equal opportunist. Well, you know what? Jim Cornette has referred to her as an upfront cunt. So, obviously it sounds like Sunny is someone who is very full of herself, very confident, and doesn't really give a fuck what anyone else seems to think of her.
No, she doesn't care, But I think it's because of her bipolar. I mean, I heard stories of her trying to break in her ex-boyfriend's house and getting arrested and continue getting arrested. I mean, like I said, DeVito loves her. He's like, "Oh, she's awesome." DeVito has a better relationship, and again, he thinks she's awesome, and like he loves Missy Hyatt. I mean, I met Missy Hyatt; she's cool, but I didn't have the relationship like DeVito had relationships with them as friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't smoke weed, and then DeVito was in the gimmicks at the weed. He loved the weed, and then so I never partaked in the circle.
You just hung
Oh,
out.
I just hung out, but I still when they were smoking weed, I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna walk around and I'll be back. Because I didn't have nothing to do but watch them smoke weed. You get the fuck out of here! I'm out of here. I'll be back.
And I think, do you think that's probably one of the things that hinders is like, because that was a big part of the culture of wrestling at the time, that the guys that were that didn't partake in the drugs and the alcohol, I don't know, like, did they not get as pushed because they weren't in those circles? Or
No, as far as I know, no, because I mean there was guys that did shit in front of me and they were like, hey, you want something? Nope, I'm good, and they didn't. I never got any heat for that. I mean, I'd be like, it's none of my business what you do. I love you like a brother. If you into heroin, hey brother, you need to get help. Nah, I'm good. All right, none of my business. I mean, just I just kept my nose clean, no pun intended, and just kept pushing forward. That's why I always had my hotel room on the opposite side of the building where the boys were at, so I knew that the drama.
Keep clear of that shit, man. Huh?
I always did.
Yeah, well, and Chris Candido seemed to be in the middle of a lot of the drama, but as I was saying, we're talking about Sonny's being promiscuous and being a hoe, so to speak.
Sunny days,
sunny days, my friend, sunny days.
She was going to get sponsored by Sunny Delight. Ooh, sunny days, sunny days.
Let's discuss some of the wrestlers that have been rumored to have hooked up with Sonny over the years. Number 1, Davey Richards. Number 2, Ahmed Johnson. This is the rumor that we talked about before, where Candido sold Sonny for the night in exchange for cocaine. Next, Hardcore Holly, Billy Gunn, Droz, Jake the Snake. Rumored story that about a 3-way between Sonny, Chris, and Jake. Joey Matthews as well. Okay. That's an interesting one. I wasn't aware of that one, but the rumor was he slept with Sonny at one time during his ECW career.
And the funny thing is that I don't remember that, and the boys always chip their teeth, and I that's why I'm thinking like that's a negative, because I mean I'm not saying it didn't happen, but we knew everything that was popping off in the locker room and stuff, and I'm just I don't know, it just never came down the windpipe that something happened.
And this is one that I'm really surprised at. Taka Michinoku.
Yeah.
like
that I don't know.
That one was a surprise, and I think Kevin's reaction to that when we first sort of displayed that, his eyes popped out of his head. But
I'm just looking up her. I'm looking up her arrest record.
Well, that's another one as well. So when did that start as well? And that would have put the extra pressure under Chris. But did you ever see the family members of Chris? Like, did you ever see any, like, was there any like breakdowns that you saw him at a show, or was he always professional, kept it together when he was at, that was business, he was there for business? And
I think it was almost like the Chris Benoit thing. He was there for business. He kept his shit together. Once he went to the curtain, he did his job, and he just kept a good face in the line. I mean, like I said, he was real tight with Balls Mahoney because they went to high school together, or they wrestled against each other. Bill Wiles, Bilvis, because they all were part of that clique of the Jersey clique. Yeah. So they were good friends. So they probably if Chris Candido would have said anything, I think he would have put his head on their shoulders because he knew him from back in the days.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like the fact that, how he died.
She had 6 DUI charges.
6
separate DUIs.
Does it say like spanning over how long?
Says Tammy Lynn, who WWE fans know as Sunny, was arrested in New Jersey on Saturday. This was one of many arrests the WWE Hall of Famer superstar has faced since 2012. The latest arrest was for failing to repay the state of Pennsylvania for her last legal case after being pulled over and suspected DUI while driving
Oh,
Kevin just frozen there, but yeah, she's had many DUIs.
yeah.
And Sunny's actually I think, just been released from prison as well, not too long ago. Like, I think in the last, like, 30 days, she was just released from jail. And I think did a stint there for, I think it was like 6 months.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, I heard she just got out, but I mean, in that situation, I mean, you know, like I said, the girl got some issue. I think she's like bipolar, but I mean, like one of my boys met her, and she was really so nice to him,
Yeah.
and she was really cool and stuff like that. Again, I don't know the person, you know, so she might be cool.
Yeah, she absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
she, like,
Kevin,
she could be very
I'm
cool.
sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were saying, and then I cut you off while you were reading that stuff.
No, it's all good. So she was arrested in Pennsylvania for driving on suspended license and suspected DUI. According to the bench warrant issued on February 15th, how do you pronounce her last name? Sitch?
Sitch.
That's what I thought. Sitch reportedly made payments in October and November of $120 each, but failed to pay the remaining balance of her fine. She has been arrested on at least 6 DUIs and faced jail, or was released from jail in February of 2020.
Oh, she just got out.
Yeah.
I wonder what her net.
crazy.
I wonder what her net worth is right now, due to the fact that she cannot sustain a job. I mean, she probably has money, but
$20.
You
I don't
know,
know.
this leads to the question, and I'm not going to get into the specifics because we've already talked about it enough on the show. But when you think of Hall of Famers who are in the Hall of Fame and the ones who are left out because of what Google says about them, I mean, Google ain't too nice to Sonny right now.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And, you know, it just leads to the thing where, in Sunny, how Sunny's headed at the age that she's at. Like, how old is she? She's 48 this year.
She's 47. Birthday's in December.
47. So
Tammy achieved a net worth of approximately $11 million.
Yeah, but how much of that does she have to this day, though? That would be something that I would probably be more interested to to understand. But she's had a bit of a wild ride, man.
Yeah, I would invest that money. Lovely, But of course, that's just me.
She did invest that money into like Budweiser and Miller Lite, and she invested her money into a lot of stuff. That's why she has 6 DUIs.
And an opiate poppy plantation in Nicaragua.
That's why her net worth isn't going down.
Man, but the thing is, like, Chris Candido, every time I think about him, man, like, I just think what could have been, and such a waste of talent that has just left way too early, man. And you look at all the tragedies around his life and his pain and his struggles, and the relationship that he was with Sonny, that toxicity, being around that, living with that, having that embarrassment. Could it have been, and I'm just throwing this out there to both Angel and to Kevin, could it have been that they were in a swinging relationship,
an open relationship?
Yeah, I mean, could it have been like a swinging good time at the Candido household?
Normally, when you deal with people with open relationships, they're very, as the frame says, they're open about it. So if they were in an open relationship, I feel like a lot of people would have known, and we would have heard about it by now. But the fact that we haven't leads me to believe that it was not an open relationship. It was just, a drug addict and a whore.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it, like you said, if it was an open relationship, it would have not affected him the way it affected him. You know what I mean? So I just think he was just pretending to be. I knew probably knew what was going on, but he pretended it wasn't. He didn't know. That's just the idea I had.
just playing
Piers,
sort of dumb.
Yeah.
it says right here that there were 5 DUIs in a 4-week span. She was
Wow.
paroled. She was paroled from her last arrest back in October 2018, but a bench warrant was issued in February of 2019 as she failed to appear for her court-appointed hearing in the state of Pennsylvania. So she had 5 in 4 weeks. She was averaging just under 1 a week.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man. That's a scream for help, man. And you know, at 48, is Sonny going to be the next tragedy that we see, you know, fall in the world of, you know, former professional wrestling personalities?
No, I'm just
because she was also released from prison early. She was released on February 25th, 2020. It doesn't say why she was released early. It just says that she was released earlier than her scheduled sentence. The reason for the release is so she was paroled, basically. It doesn't say good behavior or anything like that. It just says she was paroled early.
They're probably trying to make some room.
She served about half of her. She served a little over half her sentence.
I don't know, man. I just hope we don't see this tragic story of Sonny passing early, man. You know, it seems like she's going down that path. You know, could she end? You know, like she's done the porn, she's done, you know, all these things. You know, I really hope that you know, she's not one that's going to leave us too soon, because it definitely looks like she's struggling. You
True.
know, she's got her demon as well, and you know, like we can't say that she was the sole factor to all of the problems in Chris Candido's life, but you know, the two of them together just seem like a toxic combination.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, but it was a toxic relationship, but he didn't want to let her go. Yeah. I mean, I think that there was what's the word? He just had a complex. He just didn't want to let her go. He just, you know, insecurity issues. Maybe he relied on her for so much, you know, I love her. I can't let her go. I don't care who she sleeps with. She's still mine. You know, I mean, there's a lot of factors.
End of the day, she comes home to me, sort of thing.
Yeah, low self-esteem, man. He probably had low self-esteem issues, and he was, you know, he just didn't want to let her go. He probably thought he couldn't live without her.
And man, like, let's be honest, man, she was pretty fucking hot. Yeah,
no. After that period story I told you, kind of,
dude. Physical appeal aside, you know, Angel brings up a very good point. You know, some people are just so embedded in a relationship they're afraid to leave. Some are afraid to be alone. Some are afraid that, you know, nobody else is going to accept me. I mean, he could have been, and this is just my speculation, it could have been like, hey, she's cool with me doing drugs. She's cool with me doing what I want to do. She kind of inhabits the same lifestyle I'm living right now. What other girl am I going to find that's cool with all this stuff? So I'll take this abuse, you know, because I don't know who else is going to stick around for it. I mean, there could be a lot of things why he didn't leave.
Sucker for punishment, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing, because I couldn't live with that. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I mean, again, I'm not knocking Chris Candido. I totally understand his thought process. It's just I couldn't do it.
Yeah, me neither.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you Australians are just crazy. If you find your girl cheating on you, you fucking hit her with a boomerang and cut her head off and stuff. I saw Road Warrior. I saw that little bastard throw that boomerang and cut the dude's fingers off. So you guys are crazy.
Don't fuck around with Australians, bro.
They'll be grilling my nuts on the Barbie. You know, but
throw
I mean,
another Kingpin on the Barbie, eh, mate?
There you go. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a sad situation, because it made, from my eyes, it just makes him like yes, dear, whatever you say, dear, you know, mind my business, dear, you know, please don't leave me, dear. That's how again, not taking away from his wrestling ability, what he did in the ring. I'm just looking at it from, if I'm separating and peeling it, and I throw the wrestler to the side and look at the individual itself, then that's what I see.
Basically walking on eggshells around her.
Correct. Mm-hmm. I just can't. I can't. You know, I mean, Chris Candido was a hell of a wrestler, and I think he would have been very successful without her. I just don't think he could have done it without her, if that makes sense.
And I just want to say to obviously all the viewers of Wrestling with Tragedy that this was not a show where we were bashing Sonny or bashing Chris Candido. It was covering the story of Chris Candido, and covering the relationship of Sonny and Chris Candido was very heavily influenced. These are just opinions. These are statements that we are making that, we're just saying, look, this is where it could possibly be, where this led him down this path of, what ultimately led to his death. However, this is just, like I said, we weren't there in those times, but this is our opinions on the matter. It's not an attack on Sonny.
Absolutely.
Or the legacy of Chris Candido.
We gather all the information that we could find, and we analyze it, and we comb it down with a fine-tooth comb and analyze the situation and make our own determination. It could be true, it could be false, but we're just looking at it from a different point of view.
And we're looking at it for facts.
And we're not saying that our opinions are better than one person or the other.
Fuck you, my opinion matters.
We're three wrestling fans that come together, and we approach this from, Piers, he works in public safety. I'm in law enforcement.
I'm unemployed.
Angel, you've been in the locker room. You've been in the business. You're also a former law enforcement. So we tackle these opinions, or we tackle these topics from many different avenues. So it's not that we think that our opinions matter more than anybody else's. It's just we approach it from more than just the wrestling fans' point of view.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to do. And that's what the whole point of this show is to bring three people who are wrestling fans, who are passionate about wrestling, who also want to know about not just the stuff that is seen on camera. We want to know the dark underbelly. We want to know the tragic stories of professional wrestling. We want to know the scandals. And that's why we dig deep into this. We investigate, we spend time looking into it, and we come up with our opinions and our determinations of the factors from the facts that we've looked into, and then give that analysis over to you guys. And that's why we do what we do, because we're all wrestling nerds here at Wrestling with Tragedy. And, we're very fortunate to be able to come to you every week and present these shows to you guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Piers, you said it, you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, with that Australian accent, you even make it sound better. Better. My New York accent, better. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I love about this show. And that's why we're getting tons of followers, because we just say kind of not the truth. We just say what we see, and we just make our opinions on what we find. And that's what the fans love about us and love about this show.
Absolutely. So I've said everything I need to say. If you guys are good, Piers, you can go and start wrapping us up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for episode 6 of Wrestling with Tragedy. My name is Piers Austin. You can find me over at Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance, where I am the host of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. Also, my good friend Kevin Rodriguez. Please take it away and give yourself and let us know about our sponsors.
Huge shout out to our sponsors, guys. PARADICE Customs for all your releathering needs. You can hit up PARADICE Customs on Facebook or message Mr. Chris Nichols. If you have any questions on how to get in contact with any of these people, please feel free to message myself or Piers, and we'll point you in the right direction. You can find us in Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance and Wrestling Review Society as Kevin Rodriguez and Piers Austin. Angel hangs around there as well, so feel free to hit him up as well. Also, Immortal Restoning for all your restoning needs. If you don't have any belts and you're looking to start your collection, make sure you hit up MIAN Belts, Eddie and Ira Williams, as he appears in Wrestling Review Society and Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance. Also, AROCKK Designs for all of your amazing customizable needs, like this Bullet Club tumbler. And lastly, guys, go to Pro Wrestling Tee Store, type in Wrestling Review Society, and order your Wrestling Hub t-shirt today. If you are one of the first 25 people to order this shirt, you will be placed in a random drawing for one of these amazing cups. We are giving 2 cups away to the top 25 people. So you have not all 25. Out of the top 25 people, we are raffling off 2 free cups. So definitely go over, order your shirt, and get in on a chance to win that. It can be wrestling related, not wrestling related, any way you want it. It doesn't matter. And then every Thursday night, be sure to tune in to Wrestling Review Society and catch the War Room, where I interview a lot of your favorite wrestlers like Nick Aldis, Vampiro, Tim Storm, Royce Isaacs, Zicky Dice, just to name a few. With that being said, Angel, take it away.
And I want to thank everybody watching Wrestling with Tragedy. This is the Kingpin, one of the greatest wrestlers out there, the most controversial wrestler out there, and also the king of the streets. Tune in on our next show. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to benefit from it, and you're going to get a lot of wrestling knowledge and our opinions as well. And again, I want to thank these two individuals for being part of my wrestling family. And I want to thank you for tuning in with Wrestling with Tragedy. And take it away, Piers.
And you can follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Wrestle Tragedy. So hit us up, drop a tweet, and let us know what you think of the show. Thanks, guys, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Time to piss on the fire and call in the dogs. We're going home.
And this is Kingpin approved. Peace.